I'm a small town country girl, New South Wales, and I guess looking back, you know, it's always good to look back with 2020. I struggled with depression, I think, for most of my life. I can remember at around 50 feeling so alone, so disconnected, so lonely and sad. And that was a pattern that kept playing out in my life. And because of that, I felt like I never fit in. I never had confidence or self-worth, and I just didn't feel like I fitted in anywhere. There were moments when life was good, but then, you know, I'd fall back into that pattern of this sadness and loneliness. And I would literally, I'd pack up my car and I would just go. You know, I had a great life. I had great parents, really, really happy, everything. And I didn't understand why I felt this. So I kept searching for something that would make me feel better. So for a long time, I was searching for something outside of myself. I was searching for a man. I was searching for a job. I was searching for a town. You know, I lived all over the place. I went to England to be a nanny. I went to Queensland and I lived on the Gold Coast for a while. I worked on bus companies doing tours through the Kimberleys and Cape York. So I had a lot of good stuff going on, but I would always fall back into this sadness, this depression of what I now know is, you know, depression. I didn't realise it at the time, but the older I got, the worse it got. And the not having children, that didn't happen for me, was a really big thing, a catalyst to, I guess, falling deeper and deeper into that hole of sadness and loneliness, and grief was added onto there. I think when everybody else is having what you want and doing what you want, and they're living their life with their children and the partner and the family unit, you feel even more disconnected, which can, you know, add to those layers of emotion. Yeah. So when I turned 40, I had tried a lot of things, because at some point I knew that I was the only person who could fix me. You know, this realization came. So I did courses and programs, and like you said, I went to Tony Robbins, and I went to Gurus in Sydney, and I did therapy, and I did hypnotherapy, and I did reike and kinesiology and NLP. I think I nearly broke the practitioner when I tried NLP. It just didn't work. And I was giving up. You know, I was getting to the point where it was too hard. So my 40th birthday, I didn't want anything. I didn't want a party. I didn't want people, because I was, I guess, isolating myself, pushing everyone away, even though I wanted them to notice what was going on. I was still pushing them away at the same time. There was this terrible tug of war. But my friends decided they were going to take me away for the weekend, and we went to Sydney and to the casino, and while everyone was getting excitedly dressed and putting their makeup on, I was standing out on the balcony wanting to jump off. So that was my, I guess, biggest moment of, you know, and I think the universe at that time said, well, shit, we've got to do something here, or she's not going to get to the next stage, you know. So that was when I got this email, and the universe intervened, I should say. I got this email, and I guess I kept thinking, oh, geez, I was lucky I read that email. I found it in amongst all the junk. But it was an email from Maz saying that she had innovated this amazing new tool that was all about our female factor, the differences. You know, it had deep and lasting results. And I thought, wow, I've got to try it. I've tried everything else. I've got to do it. Otherwise, where am I going to be? I'm just not going to be here. So that was almost 10 years ago. So 2012. I was, just after my 40th, I got the email. I had to wait a couple of months, but there was hope. Again, you know, I've got hope. There might be something that can help me. So I signed up and went to this 3-day retreat. And I was telling you the other day when I was driving there, I was yelling and screaming at people, this road rage, because anger had become a part of me. It was how everything was being expressed, you know, all the pain, all the hurt, all the sadness that was just coming out as anger. And I had no control over it. Sometimes I couldn't even help what was coming out, you know. At the time I worked in a motel, front desk, managing, and people would come in, hi, I'm ready to check in, and I'd literally yell at them, and I'm like, oh my God, I have no control over this pain, you know, and that's what happens, you know, hurt people, there's this pain that just, it comes out in anger, you know, and that's where I was, and I was yelling and screaming. I can remember that I guess that was the biggest thing I noticed about that weekend. I went there angry and yelling and screaming at the road rage on the way, and on the way home I noticed I literally not even got back to the highway. We were sort of in this I don't even know where it was. It was somewhere near Newcastle, and you sort of had, you know, half an hour drive to get back to the highway to drive back to Sydney. And before I got to the highway, this car had tried to you know, take me out, kind of thing, you know. And I was like, oh well, I'm okay. And I was like, holy shit, you know, no road rage come. And I was like, oh my God, I haven't even hit the highway and already my life has changed. You know, I wasn't even home. I felt it, and I can still remember that memory of, oh my God, I've changed. You know, that anger's not there anymore. Yeah. So it was a really remarkable weekend. I got rid of sadness. I can remember doing that. There was anger and there was impatience. I can't remember what else, but I know those three were big issues, and we learnt about that female difference, for why everything wasn't working for me, because I thought, well, what's wrong with me? You know, people are talking about, this is the way that you heal this is the way that you fix this. And I was doing them and nothing was changing, nothing was healing me. So, you know,
so that just adds on top of it.
It does.
So I think we've got a very bad connection.
Oh, could be all the rain.
But that's okay. But yeah, because that adds on top of it, because we compare ourselves to everyone else, and but what we're comparing to is not real. You know, we put on this face out in public that, yep, got it all going on, it's all good. And no one sees you after that, you know, 5-second interaction or that 5-minute interaction and sees the real you. So we compare with something that's not real, and then we just naturally assume, well, it must be me. It must be me. We don't ever think maybe what I'm using is not the right thing. Maybe it's the tool. We never think that, because everyone is talking about how amazing the tools are, and rightly so, because no one's going to come out and say, oh yeah, come to me, my tool, it's all right. They're not going to say that. So everyone says, yeah, it's fantastic, and you know, and this is the thing that I think it's hardest for women to wrap their head around, is that how can it be so fast and also last for so long? Because we're 8 years on. I think I said 2014, but you're saying 2012?
2012. And I did the training in 2014.
Right, gotcha. Okay. So so 10 years on, you're still not having to readdress those things. And it's not like you never get angry. Of course, you would still get angry at times if the situation warrants it. You know, that's normal. That's called being a human and interacting with other humans. You're going to get angry. But the difference is, and a lot of women are angry. A lot of the women I've worked with have been angry, and I was angry, you know, and it's not a pretty emotion, but it's real, and it affects us so much. And to be able to then not react the same way. Yeah, you get angry. Yeah, it was warranted. Yep, you feel it. You might be pissed off, and then boom, it's gone. It's not. I used to, I don't know if this was for you, but I used to hang on to it, and then I would find something else to be angry about. And now I would nitpick my poor husband.
Chew.
Yeah. It was awful. And to notice that so fast,
Yeah,
though, Maria, what you were saying is that it, to react and not to respond and not react in that moment afterwards.
yeah,
That's, yeah, it's so good. And then that has this big ripple effect, doesn't it, on your entire life and everyone in your life as well.
absolutely. Because
And
at that time, no one wanted to be around me because I was so
yeah,
angry. They all went away. No one wanted to have anything to do with me. I was so angry. And it was just this toxic energy. It's like I had F off on my forehead,
in Nico.
staring everyone
And
away.
then that adds on to everything, doesn't it? And then
Yeah,
because you're pushing them away, and then you feel more lonely. And then there's the resentment and the bitterness and all of that sort of stuff. It just piles on, piles on, piles on. And then on top of that, it's what's wrong with me? How come everyone else can do it, but I can't? Yeah.
Absolutely. It's exactly
Awful,
where I was. Yeah. Yeah.
So then talk to me about, because I know how much you really wanted to have that family and children, and you weren't able to do that. So you said grief before, grieving not being able to have the children. So talk to me now about what is your relationship like? Because I know you've got a little nephew that you spend a lot of time with.
It's surprising. And before, there was so much resentment, there was so much envy and jealousy, and it hurt to see other people with kids. It hurt to hear about the pregnancies and giving birth and seeing the babies, and I'm in a lot of childless not by choice groups, and they're triggered by absolutely everything. I seen a
Because
little
you're meant
baby
to be
in
happy
Morgan.
for them, aren't you?
You are. And it's really, really hard when you're feeling so hurt. You want to, but you can't at a deep level until you clear that off. Because now I am happy. I seen a little, I don't know, it might have been a month old yesterday when I was lined up in the supermarket, and I am going and going over that baby like you wouldn't believe. Because I don't have the hurt and the resentment and the jealousy and that loneliness and that grief. I take joy in the small moments of giving love to little babies or kids of any age. And I know I couldn't have done that before CREATRIX. I could not have been happy giving love to all of my nieces and nephews. Like, there's 10 of them. I don't know what relationship I would have with those kids if I was still so toxic. I couldn't have given them pure joy and love and happiness and been free to run around and be joyful and play, and none of that would have happened. None of that would have happened. And I would have missed out on so much. It would have been me missing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see there's so many women being triggered. No, absolutely not. It is priceless. And I've had 10 years of joy with all of those children as they grew up. The eldest is now 22 of my nephew's 22, and the youngest one's 4, just turned 4. And there's a mix in between. And every single one of them have been my favourite when they were this little tiny baby, and I've spoiled them rotten. Still do, all of them, but when they're little, they need that more. Well, I think so. I give them so much more because they accept it so easily when they're children, when they're kids, when they're little kids. They just love having love and having fun and joy and hugs and tickles and all of that stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't have had that without CREATRIX, and that, in itself, just that would have been enough. But every other benefit I've had, is priceless. Yeah.
So you then went, so that was 2012 when you had your you had you experienced creatrix for yourself. Then in 2014, you decided you wanted to be a transformologist.
Yeah, absolutely. When Maz said that she was training women up, I wanted to do it because I knew how fast, how easily, and how much it changed my life. And I knew there had to be other women out there who felt like I did. And I think in my video, I said, I see women with their heads down, looking at their feet. And that was always what I did. I never had eye contact. I was never confident enough, and there was always so much pain that I wouldn't connect with people. So I wanted to help other women because I knew what it felt like and because I knew there was something better.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. So you do this business part-time by choice. And I wanted to ask you about what you do, because you've been featured in magazines. Was there, and definitely was the book. You seem to have this networking thing and the PR side really down pat, or you're doing a lot in that sort of realm. What do you do? What sort of little tips can you give people around that?
Well, I honestly, I don't know how it happens. And I guess that's another way in which Creatrix is so amazing, because there was a time I couldn't even speak to my sister on the phone. And now I'm reaching out and I'm talking to women, and I go to events, and I go to summits and workshops and I don't even know what you call them anymore, where, you know, you've got all these health things in a room, and I can't use my words. It's been that long since we've had them.
Like an expo?
And where you have stands, stalls, expos, and I created, I guess, connections. And I would always say, it doesn't matter what anyone asked me, I would say yes and work it out later. I was traveling, like I live 3 hours from Sydney and 3 hours from Canberra, and I was driving once a month to both to go to networking events. So I'd drive 3 hours there, 3 hours home, like, you know, getting home at midnight or later, depending on how long we talked at the networking event, to meet women. And from there, I got the opportunity to meet a woman who had a magazine. She had print magazine, and it was, I don't know, 6 months later, she messaged me, I want you to be on the front cover. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Little old me, what? And I just said, okay, yeah, sure. And then I went away, I thought, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But I said yes. So I was on the front cover, and there was an article in that there was an American magazine, that an online magazine, Women's Empowerment, they reached out to me through LinkedIn and said, you know, we love your content. Can you write a piece to see if it connects with our magazine? So I did that. I thought, oh, I've never written anything. I don't know how to do copy. What are you talking about? Anyway, I wrote it. They said, yeah, we want you. We want you to be a monthly contributing writer for our magazine. So I did that for 2 years. I was featured on the front cover of their magazine. I've been in 2 books, the Creatrix one and another women's health book. What else? There was something else. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it's just connecting, and it's, I love talking. I've been on a US blog, what do you call it, a podcast. I've got 3 interviews this weekend to be on other podcasts. So it's, yeah, just reaching out and sharing. I'm able to talk about what I'm passionate about. I'm able to share how I feel, where before Creator, I'd go to a counsellor, I'd just sit there and cry. I couldn't literally say a word. You know, it's light and day, black and white. Change is phenomenal. It's unbelievable if I didn't experience it myself, I guess.
Yeah. That's so cool. I love that. I say yes and figure out how to do it later.
Yeah,
and
just jumping at the chances that come along. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it?
And there is a lot that I've done, and that's part of the program that makes this so incredible. Is I'll say yes, and then I'll work out or go see a sister, and what have I got blocking me from doing my best, and I'll get rid of it so I can do my best. Yeah, we've got access to that forever building and not getting stuck in any crazy, stupid head talk. Yeah, we can just go and get rid of it. Yeah.
So just so everyone knows what you're talking about there. So when you become a CREATRIX Transformologist, it's an ongoing membership that we have that gives you access to business advice and CREATRIX advice. And I think the most invaluable part is access to CREATRIX whenever you need it, because there's always going to be something new when you step up to a new level. There's always going to be a new thing that comes into your awareness, but you don't have to let that stop you. You can just
that's right.
Yeah, smash through that and keep going.
And you don't know what life's going to throw at you. Who would have thought a pandemic would come along and bring up scarcity and different things? I had a client who suffered anxiety for 30 years, and we released that, in the 3 to 4 sessions. And I reached out to her during a global pandemic, and she said, "Oh, I'm fine." Okay, cool. After 30 years of anxiety, nothing. Go figure. I thought, oh, maybe there's something that might have triggered something to come up, but no, she was doing fine. Yeah.
That's so nice to be able
I've
to do
had,
that.
Yeah. And I've had, I guess, events happen in my life that could have brought me back down again. The deaths, my closest cousin from cancer, and mum and dad both have cancer, and, there's always life events. But I've been able to reach out and have CREATRIX for me to learn what I need to learn, to not have it put me down, to be able to help them the best I can, which is surprising to me, because I could be the biggest sook in the world and cry at a movie when something's happening, but when it comes to now looking after other people, I'm strong as an ox. When the chips come down, which I would have thought would be the other way around, it'd be an absolute mess. But yeah, there's this inner strength now that wasn't there before.
That's fantastic, Maria. So good. And everyone in your life then, everyone you touch benefits from that as well. That's what I really love about it.
Absolutely.
Very good. Oh, you were going to say something?
I was just going to say that even when you don't notice that you're having a difference, through this, just sharing my story and sharing what I do. I went to the races in Sydney a couple of months ago, and a girl she's a friend of a friend come up and give me this really big hug and said, "You don't know how much difference what you do makes to me." And I would never have known. But yeah, so when you're a better version of you give off an energy, a vibe, a love that you can't do if you're full of hurt and pain. And it does affect other people in a better way.
Absolutely. Yeah. You become that little beacon of hope of what's possible. If she can do it, then I can do it, sort of thing. And a lot of the time too, when women are struggling, they don't want anyone else to know, because it's all the judgment and the criticism and all of that sort of rubbish that goes along with it, that makes us not reach out. So yeah, it's when you just keep showing up for people and showing them what's possible for them and sharing your story, because there's so many women, like you said, who are the same as you, who are childless with not by choice, which I think is even harder to be able to deal with, being able to show them that there is actually light, and sharing your heart like that allows other people to feel better about themselves. Like that girl that you don't really know, she's a friend of a friend, but you're having that influence
Yeah.
on her without even realizing that you are. And that's an important thing. I think we all need to remember that, you know, just because you don't have 50 billion likes and comments and all that sort of thing, not having an impact. So I think it's fantastic what you do, Maria. You're out there, you're getting it done, you're just connecting with women, and it's a beautiful thing.
Thanks. Yeah, I love it, and could talk all day about it, but which, yeah, is so bizarre because I could never have done it before. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, darling. I really love talking with you. Are there any little last minute bits of advice or anything you'd like to share with anyone watching?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me and sharing with others is that there is something that works. We've tried so many things and we think it's the problem's us, and that's not what it is. And the other thing is that we do not have to stay stuck feeling this way. You don't have to push it aside. You don't have to push it down. You don't have to believe that you just have to cope with life. There's a better version of life when there's a happy, free you. It's hard to imagine that can be, but it can when you clear out the hurts, the pains, you know, and everyone around you benefits when you help you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Maria.
No worries.
Sounds like you've got a busy weekend on these interviews.
I do.
It's very exciting. All right, darling, I will talk to you
Thanks,
again
Ellen.
soon. You're welcome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Ellen.
Bye-bye.
Bye.